So we are going to have the next session. The topic is practical steps towards self-reformation, and Movi Umar Jesse Ajiman Sahib would be the moderator for that session.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We would like to welcome you to the second episode of this very interesting and interactive program. Inshallah, the panelists that we have here, we will be discussing the topic practical steps towards self-reformation. Practical steps towards self-reformation. And as you rightly heard from our brothers, or my brother, or Bashiruddin Mahmoud Ahmed, we don't want it to be a one-way thing. So first of all, we open the floor to all of us. And what we are targeting, or what we want to achieve at the end of this discussion, is that we would want you to bring forth some of the challenges that you are going through as Khuddam members. As a Khadim, what is your challenge? And how do you want that challenge to be solved? So that taking that home, you would end up reforming yourself, making yourself, a very fine Khadim serving Khilafat Ahmadiyyat. So on the guests or the panelists that we have here today, we have our very own revered and respected Sadr Saab, Esquire Hanif Bipwa Saab. Sadr Saab, you're welcome. And then we have next to him is Hafiz Labib, who is also a tutor at Jamia Ahmadiyya, Jamia Mubashirin. Hafiz Saab, you're also welcome. And then we have Maulvi Muhammad Al Hassan Saab, who is a zonal missionary of Mankesim Zone. So these are the very able and then knowledgeable guests, or let me say panelists that you have here. So first of all, we will kickstart the program by giving you the opportunity to come up or to inform us some of the challenges that you are facing as a Khadim. We just treated Salat. It can also be a challenge to you as well. So you take the opportunity to talk about it. It can be betting that is bothering you. Maybe for the sake of the audience here, just say it's not your problem. It's the problem of a friend. Feel free to say that, so that in one way or the other, we can solve your problem and the problem of others can also be solved. So if you have anything in mind regarding some of the challenges that I just mentioned, please just put up your hand and then you mention it and then you tell us how you would want it to be solved. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just as Maulvi Saab said, probably it's not my problem, but for the sake of the majlis, I want to ask, as you said, in this day and age, I think for me, per my experience, the problem that we face as Khuddam, as the youth, is this betting issue. And so I want to know from our panelists, now with this betting, my bet, soccer bet, one of all the bets, how do we save ourselves from it? If we are indoors, sometimes it's addictive. Yeah. And we know anything that's addictive is very, very difficult on a personal basis to put a stop to it. So I'd want us to get some points as to how we can change ourselves from that betting issue.
Let's see if we have another person. Okay, our brother there. There's our brother there.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, my name is Ishmael Sam from Aguna Zone. My question is, we are living in a country where I think Friday is a working day.
Friday.
And some of us have to leave work, then go and pray. Personally, I've had I've been in that situation where I lost a job because of that. So some of my friends, if I tell them they should stop work, then go to pray on Fridays, they don't want to do. And some of them too don't even tell their owners that they want to stop work and go. Okay. So I want to know what they can do.
Okay. So apparently what he's trying to ask is that he's having a personal experience. That's it happened that he used to leave his work for namaz on Juma days, right? And then he loses his job. So now when he's telling people that when it's time for salat, you should leave and then go and then do your salat, they give him his own personal experience that he lost his job. So how advise he solves such a problem? So we humbly start with respected Sir. Okay, so we have a follow-up question from Mawi Bashiruddin Mahmoud Ahmed Sab, and then we will start with respected Sadr Sab.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So with the question Mawi Mustafa Sab asked regarding the betting, that how do you stop because you become addicted to it?
Yeah.
Now I would want to ask how some of the people don't even realize that betting is not allowed or is a sin. So how do we create the awareness, or what information are we giving out to the people for them to know that it is not allowed? That's the first step. Then we talk of how to even stay away from it.
Right.
Jazakallah.
Okay. Jazakumullah khairan. So respected Sadr Sab, a very serious canker of the day, gambling, betting. So your thoughts?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's not every money that is meant to be spent by everybody. It's my first comment. It's a personal principle. Say enye sika bia ene edie. Enunti no. Those who know me, people may think I have a lot of influence, so I get a lot of money. My salary is still 3,800 cedis, and I live with it. I live on that. And a lot of people do the betting because they have created an excuse in their mind that because Allah has not given me a job, I have no other way and I have to eat. So, I mean, how can you say betting is not allowed? That is the only way I can eat. So if you don't find job for us, we will do the betting. Allah will understand. Please, Allah will not understand. It is a wishful thinking. It's your mind. Your wishes are superimposing on your common sense. That because I wish that Allah will understand, despite the fact that I'm betting, you therefore think that Allah will understand. No. The principles are clear that gambling or game of chance is not acceptable by a believer, a Muslim. Hence, you as a person cannot change the principle at all. And so the general principle again is that it's not every money we spend. And when you don't spend every money, and then you do the principles we've been taught, you pray properly, you conduct yourself properly, Allah provides for you. Like me, He has been providing for me. I have a family, I have a wife, I have 3 children, I have a mother, I have brothers. I still survive within the circumstances. People really believe that I receive a lot of money, but I've told you it's because of acceptance of prayers that we are able to live within the means. And so, if you accept that it's not every money we spend, and you begin to believe in Allah, that He can open the skies for help to come from nowhere, you don't need betting. You don't need to cheat anybody, even one city. But woe betides you, and I promise you that the betting you are doing, it will bring you doom in the near future. Ask yourself how many people did betting and then they ended well. It's a mere trial for you. So what I'm telling us is that see it as a trial for you. Stay away from it. Know that it's not every money we spend. Know that when we sacrifice that behavior, Allah will open way for us, and then we can be able to withstand that hunger for betting. So that's what I'll say for now and leave for my colleagues. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Officer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah Almighty enable us to be successful. May Allah Almighty enable us to individually and collectively be very successful. Being successful means, among other things, that having the understanding to accept and comply with whatever directives we are given, being able to manage what we have to live within our means, being able to find contentment in what we do. There is one prominent prophet we all know about, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. When Allah Almighty assigned him the responsibility of directing his people, per accounts, the people were very disobedient. He called them by day, by night, every time. But when we look, we can make it a point, all of us, as much of us as can read. Surah Nuh, the Quran, the chapter on Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. He calls his people day and night, and he promises them. He said, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. I said to my people, seek forgiveness from your Lord, إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا, because he is the Ghaffar, the all-forgiving. Istighfar is very important. Istighfar is very important. But sometimes some of us may be tempted. Why will Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, of all this modern, normal, human, busy life we have, fully interfered life, tell us to say 200 times at least istighfar a day? It stems from the understanding of our fallibility, the weakness within ourselves to falter, to fall down on the way. From there, our intent to change. We won't get there immediately. We won't overnight be free from all the difficulties. But we start from somewhere, understanding that we have a weakness, and praying again and again to God the Almighty, at least 200 times a day, that, oh God, have mercy on us and forgive us. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayhi, or in its diverse forms. And when we start with that, when we start with serious istighfar, so much so that we start to feel that our istighfar is still less. Someone said something, and I think I like it. He said, it takes a lot of knowing. It takes a lot of knowing to know that you don't know. It takes a lot of knowing to know that you really know extremely enough. So we should start with the istighfar for every sin we have, for every weakness we have, praying to Allah that He helps us with the forgiveness, inshallah, with our reformation, to reduce the temptation. Then we start making cogent, realistic, achievable, practical steps.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah Hafiz Labib Saab. Well, Mobi Saab, we've just listened to these very intriguing answers from our panelists here. So someone also asked, he wants to know that he has been a living, or he's a living example of someone who really prioritized his faith, especially his Juma Salat over his job. And at the end of it all, he lost his job. And then now he feels a bit hesitant to advise people to, actually leave their job and then, go and do salat. And he cannot even advise people on it, because they will definitely show him his own example. So what advice can you give to such an individual?
Hello. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As human beings, as the Quran tells us that we were created to worship God. That's our main purpose on this earth, to worship God. And if we are to worship God, we believe that He is the Razak, that He is the provider. So whatever we are doing should aid us in worshiping God. So the work we do, the life we are living in this world, is to aid us in worshiping God. So when it's time for Salah, and we are to go and pray, and that work becomes a hindrance in our way of worshiping God, it means we must leave that thing.
Okay.
That work shouldn't be a blockage in worshiping God. If we stop our work and we have firm faith in Allah that He is the provider, He will bless the work that we do, then I think it will even send some message to our minds that let's stop whatever we are doing and go to the provider himself, because the work is just means of getting the provision. So when the provider blesses that means, inshallah, you will get your provision by the end of the day. So first we should just have that firm faith and that conviction that my work is to aid me in worshiping Allah. If the work is not aiding me in worshiping Allah, then I must stop that work. And if you have friends who don't help you in worshiping God, just as the Quran says, when it's time for prayers, they make jest of the prayers and the way the Muslims worship, then we should stay away from those people. Quran says we should be with those who are righteous. So if a friend of yours always calls you to work, and when it's time for work he is distracting you from praying and other things, I think that friend is not the best friend for you. You should find a friend who will always try to call you towards prayers and try to draw your attention to the importance of the prayer.
Okay, so I mean, there is that hope, or that person shouldn't feel that he has done the wrong thing. In fact, our dear brother, you did the right thing according to our panelists here. You did the right thing, and also you shouldn't shy away from advising people on doing the same. You did the right thing. Hafiz Sab.
Specifically, in relation to prayer, salat, Juma salat, and work, I would want to say this. It is important that at anywhere we find ourselves to work, we work extremely well and extremely hard, and do the best we can with all honesty, very high sense of integrity. There are times, there are instances where, by virtue of the quality and the nature of the work you do and the prayers you say for Allah's protection on your job, even if the boss feels like firing you for your prayers, that sentiment would not be well ingrained in his mind. Work well, work hard, work as best as you can, and then your employer would justifiably feel that, no, for this hour, 1 hour or 2 hours out of that Friday that he wants to take out to pray, shouldn't be the means by which I take this my employee off. But if our work becomes like any other and nothing special, and our absence is not felt, if our absence is not felt, the person would feel very comfortable to lay us off.
Exactly. Jazakumullah Hafiz Labib Sahib. Let's go back to the audience and see whether we still have questions. Okay. Right. Yes, please. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
My major concern is these days drug abuse among the youth.
Drug abuse
among the youth.
Okay.
It is a bigger challenge of late. I don't know if there is any solution Majlis is having.
Very fine-tuned definition of drug abuse. There's a typical drug abuse that worries us a lot is those who are on the weed, cocaine, and things. That, from my observation, I haven't seen a lot of it amongst us. So I do not want, in the midst of a lot of other problems, to spend time on that. But the type of drug abuse that is risky amongst us is those who are able to prescribe for themselves paracetamol when they get headache instead of see a doctor. That is equally drug abuse. Now that one is killing many of us. Look, I am a fan of attire. Some call it atum. I take it a lot. Over the years, I've observed that some people combine too many things to make one attire. They will add this cloves, they will add ginger, they will add all manner of things. And at the end of the day, we are unable to tell what chemical may come out with, of all those reactions. Is one typical example. A number of people I have been drinking attire with, about 3 or 4, have died out of heart attack in the last 3 or so years. And I don't understand why. It may just be coincidental, but it has made me to stop taking that attire consistently. So now I take it once every blue moon, like 6 months or something. And so it's one example. Some other people, they have blood pressure. They get a headache, which is one of the manifestations of high blood pressure. And they simply treat it with paracetamol at home. And they think it's okay. But there are people who have had episodes of high blood pressure and they are sitting with it and taking paracetamol. That kind of drug abuse is almost in every home. Almost all of us do it. That is the one we should be worried about moving forward. As for the one that has to do with the weed and cocaine and things, all I will tell you is that there is no way you will take hard drugs and they do not manifest on you physically. So if you are someone who cares about your integrity and dignity, know that you are not hiding. You cannot hide. You may think that you do all the remedial measures to prevent people from knowing, but when we see you, we know you. We only don't talk about it. We still judge you. So it's either you do it openly or you stop doing it, because hiding and doing it doesn't save you in any way. So in the constraints of time, this is what I can say about the drug abuse question.
I think he also mentioned a point that those who are meant to hear this, they are not present. But I think that is why Islam tells us to do what we call kunu ma'as sadiqin. You live among, or you work with those who are righteous. So we believe that you people can actually embody that. You can live with that example outside. And when those people meet you, they can actually learn something from you. And again, you are also safeguarded from their intoxic acts, meaning that so you will not get drawn, like you will not be drawn towards doing that, because already you are here, you are benefiting from this sitting. So it is important that you are here. If they are not here, yes, inshallah, we will talk to them, but you should also be a living example of a true Muslim, and maybe from seeing you and learning from such sittings, inshallah, you have a good impact on them. Jazakumullah. So we will take Hafiz Labib Saab comments.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Poverty is driving a number of us to be as angry, so angry that we are even angry with God for not providing for us. It is true that we don't have the means, but it is interesting to note that even those we perceive in our minds as well-to-do do not have the means to do all what they want. We never know how they manage. They really manage a lot, but we stay out and away and very far away and say all is well. The second Khalifa, Hazrat Muslih Maw'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, has instructed us that we shouldn't be shy of menial works, of works perceived as this is just low class work. It is very important to take note of that. It is easier said than done. We can easily say it that, oh, just get any work and do it. But when you are called on to clean, to sweep, how do you feel? When you are called on to herd someone's animals, how do you feel? When you are called on to give a helping hand to weed someone's compound, how do you feel? We should try as best as we can to feel dignity in labor, to feel honored in doing the little things for ourselves as the beginning, because those people we think are big people, they didn't start as big. They started usually from places where you find yourself now and think you are worse off. they were even more, if we could say, more worse. They were more terrible when they started. So get out. Be ready to do something. Be ready to teach if you are educated in a private school for a little job, for a little pay. Do that and do it well. Do that and do it very well. Be ready. If you are muscular, you have the strength to get out and ask, do you have a car for me to wash? Do you have a place for me to sweep? Do you have the compound for me to weed? Do that. The dignity of that. Because with that comes transformation.
Yeah.
The money may not change your life, but the attitude, the resilience, the ability to survive in that condition will strengthen you, so that in future, when God the Almighty puts you in a better state, you can really manage your better state. All along, we should pray. We should pray and pray and pray a lot. You see, most of us are unemployed. But those same people do not say tahajjud. Unemployed cannot say 5 daily prayers. So let's imagine.
So it means physically unemployed, spiritually unemployed.
Physically unemployed, spiritually unemployed.
Jazakumullah. And I think he made a point that just a contribution to what he said. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum
Hafiz,
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
yes,
I think personally, it's not poverty which makes people enter into gambling and other things. I think it's greed and satisfaction. If you are not satisfied with what you have, you will be pushed to go for more, and you find so many ways of getting that much money that you need. If a poor person is gambling and a rich person is also gambling, you can't tell me it's poverty which is pushing them to gamble. We have so many rich people who gamble. So it's either greed or not being satisfied with what you have. So I think if we want to take a practical step to stay away from the gambling, then first we should be satisfied with the little we have and try to work hard and pray, as Hafiz have said. If we just sit down and think the money will come, it will never come. Even those who are rich, despite they are still working. They don't sleep in the house. And one problem with poor people like us is we don't want to work and we don't want to pray. You will find rich people always going to work, their children trying to get higher education, paving way for their children. If they lead their children to work, they can get work for their children. But we the poor people, one, we don't want to be educated. We don't want to work. And we don't have anyone to lead us anywhere. So we always stay behind and we find wrong ways of getting the money. So if we try to work a little bit hard and pray a little bit hard, I think we can stay away from this greed and this unsatisfaction that we have.
The last point that he made was that when they try to do tabligh to these people, they say, no, don't come. They are even angry with Allah the Almighty. What I want to say is that it is not work to actually guide people. It is our work to make the message. So it is up to them to accept or not to accept. But these are the practical steps that should all take to better ourselves. Sadosa, the last question. I think this is very, very important. Someone once said, Sadosa, before you say that, I said, Mobi, so mucha loto. And we asked why. He said, Mobi, they say, American Lotto Abbey. Sadosa, is American lottery allowed?
Before American lottery, the poverty issue is a poverty of faith. It's a poverty of faith. Faith, any lucky, and that's why we are suffering that problem. Because for most of us, we do not know that after hardship there is always ease. For most of these people, even if you throw money at them right now, it will spoil them. They don't know how to use money properly. And so they are not poor of money, they are poor of faith. If they had good faith, the money will come by itself, inshallah. American lottery, the understanding I have of the game of chance we are talking about is not by the name, it's by the character of what you do. There are a lot of things we change their names so that we can do, like my bet, soccer bet. The names have been changed in order to obscure the act. There are other things that there are names given to them that do not properly characterize the act the Holy Quran is prescribing or prohibiting. American lottery is one of such. The understanding I have is when you throw something valuable at chance and you expect something higher, and you can lose that thing you have thrown at it, and other people can also lose theirs and you accumulate it to yourself, thereby starving the system of a lot of other people's property to yourself. And that chance you can win it or lose it. It is the character of gambling we are talking about. Look at American lottery. What I know about it is that you make applications, and those applications are uploaded to the American authority. The American authority screens it. There are parameters people even know that increases your chances of winning or not. So it is a game of qualification, number one. Apart from the game of qualification, it's a game of number of migrants Americans need per year. Number three, it's a game of which countries they prefer people from. At the end of the day, they select some of you and bring you to America. The only reason why I call it lottery is because there was chance in it that maybe you'll be picked, maybe you'll not. Even the exam you are writing, maybe you pass, maybe you not pass. But you go and write anyway. It's not lottery. The point we are saying is that for American lottery, you do not throw any money at it. You do not throw anything of value at it, which you will lose. You won't lose anything after the application. It's an opportunity you need to go to another country. Per chance, Ghana is hostile to Muslims, and you have to go to America. You don't have any other way. You have put in an application to be selected. It's only called lottery, but it's not the game of chance as prescribed in the Holy Quran, as I understand. This is what I know about American lottery.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, Sadasab, just as you mentioned, my question is about fornication and adultery. It looked as if it's the order of the day. I chanced upon a group of boys having this conversation that Bema de Oyeden on your Baba Kopetina. Yes, I know. Bema de Oyeden on your Baba Kopetina, and you can say Bema de or Baba Kope. So it was a serious argument, which means that it has become the order of the day, fornication and adultery. Now, following this, I also like to add that some time ago, a person asked me, one Khuddam asked me that, Movi, so my question is, what do we need to get into marriage?
Well, I think, Hafiz, okay, I think we don't have enough time, so we would have to be very brief for this one. They want to know about girlfriends and boyfriends. Ubiase or gay. So what do we do?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is big, so I will start, and my bosses would continue. You know, my understanding when I read the Quran about fornication is the verses wala taqrabu zina, and we can severally quote it. Innahu kana fahisha wa sa'a sabila. Do not approach fornication because it is something bad and a wrongful path. I want to focus on the end and how we started. Then we understand. You know, for those of us who came from distant places, you set off from your destination to Kumasi. You know the road. You know I'm going to Kumasi. But that road can take you somewhere else. Okay, so you set off on the road of fornication from your phone. You set off on the road of fornication from your class. Then you justify, like, oh, say, oh, wait, she's my friend. Hag keke, wait, and you are on the way. Oh, I'm going to visit. Only a visit there. Oh, she's coming to my house to clean. Only coming to my room to clean. And oh, it's only sleeping overnight. There is a sofa. I'll sleep on the sofa. She will sleep on the bed. Wasa'a sabilan, like the
bad road.
Yeah.
The path leading to the ultimate wrong destination. You have started, and you justify yourself and say, there's nothing wrong with it. And you
So I
keep
think
going.
it's actually avoiding those practical, things that can lead to zina at the end of the day.
Exactly. So anything
Yeah.
that we are told to refrain from, we shouldn't give excuses to justify and just continue and say nothing will happen.
Okay. Mobi Sab, your last words on that.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
On the fornication, if I have a bottle of Coke here, I can walk with it from here to Mankesim without having any fear that a police may catch me or someone may call me to advise me on the Coke. But if I walk with a lady that I know is not my wife and can do something with her, to step out, you have one voice be telling you, say, don't do that. That is enough to tell you that's not right. So if you have that mind, all of us have it. When you want to do something, you weigh the thing in your head, whether good or bad. When the thing clicks that no, this is not right, or you are not clear about it, Holy Prophet ﷺ tells us that we should stay away from it. Even if it is good and we are not clear on it, we should stay away from it. And yes, no, we are not clear. We should just stay away from it. We should be, how do you say, disciplined with ourselves. We should not entertain those thoughts in our heads.
Jazakumullah, Mobisa, for that wonderful explanation. So please, boyfriend, girlfriend, Obiao again, that one is not allowed in Islam. Normal, no, it is not normal. It is absolutely abnormal. May Allah the Almighty bless our panelists. Jazakumullah for your time as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.